The dog is reading your nervousness because
Right.
you're conveying an incongruent energy. And so this isn't the, I mean, she gets the basic concept of pressure and release. It was introduced to her by the prong collar originally. The problem is that we're only using tools for control, not for communication. So we're only using tools right now for show, not for communication. It has to change because the dog has to understand how can you conduct leadership through imaginary means. That's basically what when I think about this, listening to you guys and I'm working the dog and I'm thinking about that story, that is, a lot of times people can put on a lot of fairground entertainment and magic, but the true magic comes in the conversation that you have with the leash. And the leash is very binary. It's pressure on, pressure off. If we yank and crank, we're gonna get the response. Why wouldn't you? You'd flinch if someone kept on doing this to you. That's in theory what's happening with the prong collar, and it's not that that's a bad tool. It's usually misused and typically abused. Not because the people intending to use it are trying to hurt the dog, they're trying to control behavior. So what my goal is I want to, with any dog, is first of all establish a line of communication. And the communication is very simple. It's a binary code. Dogs basically are like metering ramps. They're green or they're red. They're on, they're off. They're black or they're white. That's it. There's no gray. It's non-negotiable for them. They have to navigate out there in their world. They don't have gray. It's very clear. And when they need to have that conversation where there could be a change of light, they have energy and body language to help convey that message because they're not verbal speaking creatures. With us, the change is totally different. We're like stoplights. We're red and green. We know what stop means. We know what go means. Stop. Go. Okay. But the yellow light is you're about to make a bad mistake. My job is to help you avoid that. That's communication. Okay, I see that you're a veteran. So I'd like to use an analogy that if we were in, just use China for example. I don't speak Mandarin. Nobody here speaks Mandarin. You might speak Mandarin. But I assume nobody speaks Mandarin.
You're good.
If nobody speaks Mandarin, and we're in a village, and I gotta use the bathroom, and I gotta ask somebody where's the bathroom at, I'm speaking in English. I'm going louder. Yeah. No. So I gotta be able to tell the dog, no, or yes. Now, we're walking around the village looking for the bathroom. Can't find one. All right? Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, someone says, it's over here. Where's that person at? Where's the clear communication? Oh, it's right down the hall to the left. Perfect. Thank you very much. Where did you go? Who are you? You're my translator from here on out. All right? So what our job isn't necessarily to force a behavior. It's to shape the behavior in any training manner. And by utilizing... Hey, I don't care. Back. Don't care. I really don't care. So the dog has to know what no means. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is develop that level of communication with the dog right now. I'm basically saying pressure on means keep quiet, not jerk, not yank, not crank. I'm holding until the dog submits. Submission is a very basic concept. It's binary. You're either yes or no, black or white, on or off. And so this dog is in an environment where it's at a disadvantage. It's trying to find out where the bathroom's at. Nobody's speaking its language until I put a rope on it. Now we start having a communication. But there's fluid English, and then there is bathroom. They may know one or two words. That's all the prong yank is. All right? now it's more as a fear-based response than anything else.
Yeah.
And if you have a dog that has a low constitution to begin with, fear-based training is only going to make it more reactive. That's the problem. We need a dog to respond, not react. And so our goal here with this dog or any dog is to develop a line of communication that now we can shape the behavior. And we can shape the behavior by using a few things. We'll go use another analogy you might be familiar with. Boot camp. All right? Boot camp is nothing more than a place where, and I assimilate boot camp with prison. The difference is that one's there by choice, the other ones aren't. Okay? But it's usually a conglomeration of different personalities, different energy types, all meeting in one place. And what is the job of the drill sergeant in a boot camp? It is to shape it to be one efficient unit. We tell you when to get up. We tell you when to go to bed. We tell you what to eat, what to wear, how to do it. And if you don't do it, there's consequences. Now, psychologically, their consequences are stuff that would be discomfort to us. Psychologically, for a dog, it already knows what's uncomfortable for him because it's very easy, kill or be killed. So, go to prison, and now we have to look at what's in prison. It's not much different than what's at boot camp, except that at the end of boot camp, we got good people coming out. At the end of prison, they don't ever want to be there. So it's a containment system with nothing but harsh authority and structure. Hopefully they're hoping the structure will rehabilitate the individual incarcerated. But it typically, you know, the reason it is that they're there in the first place is because of lack of structure. They came from an environment that all had lack of structure. Boot camp, same thing. It's just a lot easier because they were willing to come, well, more or less willing to come. All right? Or they really realized they had more of a reason to be there than not to be there. How about that? Okay, we're prison, they're like, I don't want to be here. Nobody wants to be in prison. Okay, until they're too rehabilitated or too, the recidivist, at that point in time, they're institutionalized. And they're fine with their environment. So, our job is to play a little bit of that role in between. And the boot camp here, or the dog training program, the board and train program, is that. We're taking a bunch of different dogs from a bunch of different environments, and we're putting them together, and we're saying, hey guys, not only do we have to live by a certain code and a structure, we also have to function as a group, a pack. We have to interact. One of the things this dog needs to help build its constitution is socialization. Socialization with other dogs. Because right now, if you took this dog to a dog park is nothing more than a prison yard. You have sharks, you have bait, and you have shark police. That's what's in a dog park. All right? And usually the human version of the police are under a cabana, checking their phones out, and not really ever paying attention to the dogs themselves. So before they know it, fights break out, accidents happen, and it's a vet's gold mine. All right? Vets don't bring their dogs to dog parks. Why? Because they know. All right? That's how they make their money. So we don't either, but what we do here is we have, even in our facility out here, all of it structured. Gates, enclosures, small yards, big yards. We will socialize dogs with the proper energy, and then we will challenge them. So how we do that is we have to figure out personally what kind of personality your dog is. There's only 3 types of dogs out there in every litter ever born. There's A's, B's, and C's. Extroverts, C's are introverts, B's are happy-go-lucky. A, B, C. Shark, bait, shark police. All right, it comes down. It's a very simple, in the end it becomes very simple. And now what we need to do is we sharpen up communication by teaching a very simple stoplight theory. And now when the dog's about to do something, you go or no. Do I need to turn up the power or do I need to turn it down? It's like it's on a dimmer switch. All right? But in the end, we're not flicking it on or flicking it off. We're giving it balance. Because dogs live in chaos on one side of a scale and control on the other side of the scale. Okay? Chaos for a dog is the Amazon man. It's kids. It's the mailman. It's groceries come in. Chaos is anything that interrupts the consistent. They're a predator. They don't like chaos. Chaos is insecurity and indecision. They need things to be very simple. All right? So then what happens is we have control on the other side. Control is obedience. Yank and crank. Yank and crank. So all of a sudden, your dog's hanging out the house, and it's at a 2 or a 3, all right, on a scale of 0 to 10, 2 or 3. It's just hanging out there, and all of a sudden, the Amazon man, bang, 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 bang. Bark, 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 bark. The dog immediately goes up to 10. So what do we do with control? We yank and crank. What we're not finding is that there's a scale from 2 to 10 called 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, where a simple or an interruption or an observation of that behavior to where we can have enough of a communication source with the dog to say, cut your shit out. Relax. I got this. Because that's really what the dog wants, is leadership. Effective leadership.
And that's what we do with her when somebody knocks the door, or we tell, no, or if it continues, the no gets louder.
Yeah.
But we never,
But the dog has to have the no paired to something. They're not verbal creatures.
Right.
So what I'm doing is, as I walk back, and I pass this little leash past me, I walk really fast, and I take one step, and then I let the dog go to the end, and I go, up, a little pop, up. Now I'm doing it soft. And the dog is figuring it out real quick that, hey, I better stay within wherever this guy's at right now, or I'm going to feel a little tug. So then I go, hey, back, easy. So now I can take that 2 to a 3, not to an 8 or a 9 or 10. But once you said it, you said it. If you only got one bullet to use, you better make sure it's the right one. So a lot of it is practice, and a lot of it is conditioning. No different than the military, all right? How do we have really, really great soldiers? We do a lot with the military. One of the higher ups said we spend over $100,000 per man shooting bullets. We practice, and then we practice some more. We practice again, and then if we need to, we'll spend another $100,000 per soldier because apparently we're not that good at this right now. So we practice even more. That's what makes, that's what consistency. That's what makes perfection, is consistency. You gotta practice it, and it doesn't have to be hard, but it's not necessarily easy. I mean, I'm not saying, trust me, I've played with a lot of dogs, I've lost my finger, almost lost my life twice to these things. But what I have learned is less is more. That much I can tell you. It's not worth the yelling and the screaming, okay? If the dog's already at a 10, me yelling, beating, or trying to scare him into submission is really only destroying whatever confidence the dog has. And the reason it's barking is out of fear.